When many beginning gardeners begin to grow in their own vegetable garden, they may consider adding herbs or flowers. But most of the time, they think about growing herbs for kitchen purposes or flowers just for beauty. But what if you could grow herbs and flowers for more than that? Maybe medicinal properties or body care. In this video, I will show you my favorite herbs and flowers for both medicinal care and for body care purposes. Before we get started today, please know that I am not a medical professional. I'm not a certified herbalist. I'm just sharing with you what I have found has been an amazing addition to my garden and how I have used these herbs and flowers in my household and in my family. First, let's talk about calendula. Calendula can be planted a little bit after your average last frost date, and it can be either started indoors from seed or you can plant them from seed directly in your garden. Calendula boasts these beautiful orange flowers that can be used in medicinal body care. I love them in salves and lotions and oils. They are just amazing for that purpose. Plus, they are gorgeous in the garden and they attract all sorts of beneficial insects in your garden. As annuals, they will not last through the winter, but they will readily self-sow, and in many places you may find that your calendula continues to come back year after year. If I had to pick an herb that I couldn't live without, I think I would have to choose peppermint. Not only does it smell amazing and it tastes really good, I love to put it into cold ice waters in the summer for a refreshing treat. It's also highly medicinal, especially when it comes to those tummy aches that you have. I use it dried all season long whenever my stomach doesn't feel quite right, and it is incredibly soothing. Peppermint can also be used in a variety of ways, including infused oils and body care. It's definitely one I would not miss out having in my garden. To grow peppermint, purchase a transplant from your local garden center and be sure to put it in a container. Believe it or not, this all came from one tiny plant that I have continued to increase the container size over the years. But let me tell you, I wouldn't have it any other way. The more peppermint I can grow, the better. But make sure not to put it in your vegetable garden or even your raised bed unless you want an entire garden full of peppermint, which that may not be such a bad thing, but probably not what you're going for. Feverfew is an easy to grow herb that you can start from seed indoors and then transplant it out, or you can directly sow the seeds in your garden. You'll find it's a pretty small plant, but it develops these beautiful dainty white and yellow flowers, and you can use Feverfew in medicinal teas to help, well, lower a fever. Lemon balm is another one of my favorites. I love to pick a leaf or two every morning, especially in the summer, and just put it in my ice water for a refreshing drink. It's amazing. Not only does lemon balm smell amazing, it's also got many properties to help calm and soothe anxiety. Whether you're going to be using it fresh like I do in the summer, or if you dry it for teas to be able to calm yourself in the wintertime, lemon balm is one that I would not skip in my garden. To grow lemon balm, you'll want to purchase a transplant from your garden center, and I would recommend it to be in a container. Lemon balm is in the mint family, and so it will spread, so don't put it in a place in your garden. Enjoy your lemon balm all season long, and in most zones, it will come back year after year. Echinacea is a powerful immune-boosting herb that is gorgeous in the garden when it begins to flower. Also known as coneflower, you might be better off to buy transplants to get a head start on this plant. But if you want to grow from seed, it's helpful to cold stratify the seed in a refrigerator ahead of planting, and then don't expect a bloom until the second season. This is my second year, and I'm so excited to be able to start seeing these beautiful blooms in my Echinacea. Although the blooms, the leaves, and the root can all be used for medicinal purposes, the root is really where all the goodness is. You can tincture Echinacea to use at the onset of a cold, or use that tincture in one of my very favorite throat sprays, my Echinacea throat spray that soothes sore throats, and especially during allergy season, those itchy throats that you get at the height of spring. You might think of sage more for its culinary uses, but let me tell you, sage is an herb you'll want in your garden for medicinal support as well. Dried sage is one of the primary ingredients in one of my favorite teas that I drink when I have a really sore throat. And during allergy season, sage is really good just to take the leaf and suck on it like a lozenge to soothe a sore, itchy throat, especially in allergy season or if you have a sore throat. To grow sage, you'll want to purchase a transplant from your local garden center and then put it in a place that you're happy with it being for a long time. In most zones, sage is perennial. It will die back in the winter, but will come back flourishing in the spring, ready for you to pick and dry as needed. Yarrow has quickly become one of my favorite herbs to put in the garden. It's super easy to grow. I actually started these from seed indoors last year, and they grew and they self-sowed, and they've taken over this planter. But even more than the beauty, I enjoy the medicinal benefits that yarrow provides. Both the flowers and the leaves can be dried, and I've used them for two specific purposes in my home. First of all, dried yarrow is amazing at stopping bleeding with minor cuts around the home. Anytime my kids may cut themselves accidentally and it's nothing too deep, I put this dried yarrow on them and it stops the bleeding pretty fast. Another thing that yarrow is really good at is at reducing a fever. So when anyone in my family has a fever that I'm wanting to bring down naturally, I will give them a little bit of dried yarrow tea. Now I'll also add another herb that's a little bit more tasty, because yarrow tea doesn't taste the best, especially when I'm giving it to my kids. But when I do that, I'm amazed at how quickly and how well it works. Not only is yarrow beautiful and have medicinal qualities, but it also attracts beneficial insects to my garden. Many times I can come here and I can see beneficial insects flying around the flowers and enjoying the nectar that it provides. Chamomile is a wonderful herb to grow to be able to add to calming teas, especially in the middle of the winter or really any time. To grow chamomile, I have found it easier to purchase transplants from my local garden center. I have tried growing it from seed with a little bit of spotty success. But once you get chamomile up and going, it will readily self-sow. But chamomile is definitely one that you will want in your garden, both for its medicinal properties in those teas and for its gorgeous beauty. I hope you've enjoyed this look of my favorite herbs and flowers to grow for more than just the kitchen use or for their beauty, but for multiple purposes. For more information of how I use these herbs and flowers in my home, I would love to invite you to listen to episode number 135 of the Beginner's Garden podcast, where I'll share more about the ones that we've talked about today, plus a few more and some that I'm trying for the first time in my garden this year. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope this has been inspiring to you to add more herbs and flowers in your garden this year.